So you can start the blocks out flat if you'd like, or you can flip them up one level. You're going to want the corner of the block to fit within the, I kind of follow your armpit line down. So you might want it at an angle. Before you get there though, let's do some just wiggles if you're not already there. Just wiggle side to side. Oh, stretch out the side body. Maybe take some just circles around. Get a little bit of blood flowing for just a minute before we settle in. Maybe a couple little cat cows if that feels good to you today. Good. Okay, then go ahead and find, you could put a blanket underneath your head if you like to, or you could just let your head rest and hang heavy. Sometimes that feels good. And then as you settle in, go ahead and bring those palms either up or down. Sometimes it feels better, has a different stretch with the palms down or the palms up. But make sure they're done by your hips. And make sure you're not tucking the chin to the chest. Lengthen the head, then lower the head down. So you're getting some space between the occipital ridge and the top of your shoulders. And then with every breath, allow your, imagine your throat and your heart is just melting towards the floor. 10 toenails are on the ground. Roll the inner thighs so you're in a neutral position. And just settle into that deep rhythm of your breath. As you settle in, imagine the space between your heart and your spine. There's kind of that empty space there. Imagine your breath is filling that area up. And with every exhale, you're just releasing any tension you might be feeling in that area. And as we're talking about cleaning out or decluttering or letting go of things that we no longer need, take a scan and notice if you're gripping your toes or if you're gripping your glutes. Can you wiggle your fingers? Maybe to loosen up the forehead, it might be good just to roll your head side to side and give your forehead just a little massage. Don't make it big though, no need to overstretch the neck. And then you're noticing that you're trying to like stretch your shoulder blades together and you're holding your shoulders tensely. See if you can just relax the upper back. Maybe create a little space between the ears and the shoulders. And let's take some cleansing breaths, but let's sigh it out through the mouth as we exhale. So this idea of letting go, getting rid of no longer serving us, freeing up some space so we can create some peace. And when we declutter, sort of, as we say, wisdom will be revealed when we get rid of the things in the way. So if you're thinking about it physically, the body will soften when we let go or let go of things we habitually grip. And as the breath is calming the body, let's go ahead and soften the mind by repeating a loving kindness phrase. May I willingly let go So wisdom will be revealed with clarity and peace. May I willingly let go, so wisdom will be revealed with clarity and peace. May I willingly let go, so wisdom will be revealed with clarity and peace. So we're going to practice as we're laying here. This is a really good opportunity to practice a 3-part breath and feel the breath move up the spine. We always take the focus to the front of the body. Let me take the focus to the back of the body. Excuse me. So just settle into a normal breath. Remember, a 3-part breath is belly, ribs. Oh my goodness. Okay, get myself together here. Let's try this again. So the breath is belly, ribs, and chest. So imagine your breath is starting at your low back as you inhale, and then draw the belly up to the chest or the ribs, and then the chest. And feel this widening. Your shoulders are like moving out away from the spine. And then exhale out chest, ribs, and belly. And again, inhale belly or your low back, ribs, upper back. Exhale out upper, middle, lower. Just do that a few times and really see if you can feel those areas in the back that we hold onto soften and release as the breath travels through the back. Take 2 more slow rounds. And as you finish your last exhale, slowly and with mindfulness, start to move the blocks out from underneath your shoulders and let the shoulders take one shoulder at a time and just let it rest to the ground. And then the other shoulder. You can keep your hands down, or you can make a little pillow with your hands if you need, or you could turn your head to the side and just let your shoulders melt. And again, filling that space between the heart and the spine and the shoulder blades and the spine. And as you're laying here, just take a quick little body scan of the back and the hips. Sometimes when we have chronic back pain or shoulder pain or tightness, it's because we have a tendency to lean to one side and put our weight on one side. So we would call maybe having like a twisted pelvis or a twist where the upper back is twisting. So you're kind of twisting as you're standing, like that's your normal stand. And so this exercise is going to help with that. It's also going to help release the rounding or the red light reflex. So we're always hunched forward. So go ahead and bring your right hand to your left cheek. So your elbow is in line with your nose. And then your left arm is down by your hip with the palm is up. We're going to slowly, this is like a twisted cobra. You're going to slowly lift your head and gently press your hand into your cheeks with a little bit of PNF. You're going to lift the head and look over that right shoulder as you lift the left leg. And you only need to go hip high until you feel the contraction, and then you're going to slowly lower everything back down and completely relax and release. And then do it again. Gently press the hand into the cheek, lift the left leg and the right elbow, and slightly twist. Look over that right shoulder. And slowly come back down. Completely relax. And do it one more time. This is a really nice somatic movement that helps to open up the front body and then slowly relax and release. Good. From here, lower that right arm back down and then just take a pause and notice if you can tell a difference between the right shoulder and the left hip. And we'll go ahead and take that on the other side. So gently turn your head over to the left. Bring that left hand so it's resting on the right cheek and you're looking at your elbow. Again, right hand is down by the right hip and the palm is up. With a little bit of press, so you have a little bit of muscle engagement, lift that left elbow and the right leg as you twist, lift the head up and look over that left shoulder. Just till you feel a contraction, and then you're going to slowly tell yourself, soften, relax, release, and melt completely down. And do that 2 more times. Gently lift and twist. Taking your time. Completely relax before you do your last round. Again, as you twist and lift, think of the length in the front body. And then slowly melt back down. Good. And then go ahead and bring your arms down again and just notice the difference between the right and the left side. Good. Slowly drag your hands up and come into a Sphinx pose. So elbows are a little bit in front of the shoulders. Roll those shoulders down your back. And I want you to think lift up from your triceps. So you're pushing your elbows, your palms, and your forearms, but you're lifting your triceps up. Then the heart can reach forward. Engage that upper back. Good. From here, gently turn the forearms out. So you're more like a seal now. And this is going to help release the back. So take a nice inhale, lift the right elbow up, then the left elbow, and then lower right elbow down, and then left elbow down. Do that one more time. Right elbow comes up, left elbow comes up. Take a little pause here. Maybe feel that stretch in the belly. Then right elbow down, left elbow down. Now reverse. Left elbow, right elbow, left and down. Do it one more time. Moving at your own pace. Good. Then inhale, lengthen the spine one more time. And then exhale, slowly lower back down all the way. And just take a pause again and just notice how your back is feeling. You make a little pillow with your hands. Maybe wiggle your hips side to side. And for a minute, I want you to see, can you lengthen your hips away from your rib cage? So there's some space in the torso. Now that we've kind of stretched that out a little bit. Good. Then from here, go ahead and stretch the arms out to a T position. Left palm is down. Slide the right hand into a 90 degrees with your elbows in line with the shoulder. And then from here, gently push yourself up onto your left hip. You can lower your head on a block or a pillow. So your hips are stacked. This is a good stretch for that pectoral front body of that left arm. Option to reach that reach the leg and touch it back behind you. That might be a nice little quad hip flexor opener. Now, if you're noticing you're gripping your glute and it's causing a Charlie horse, see if you can soften that. Some people call this broken wings. Some people call this scorpion. We'll just stay here for 2 more slow breaths. Good. Then slowly find yourself rolling back onto your belly. And again, come into any just relaxed pose, either hands underneath your head or both palms down by your hips. When you're working with your back, it's really important to just take a few minutes and let the spine, or take a few breaths, and let the spine readjust. But now we'll do the other side. So right arm's out to a T, left hand is in 90-degree angle, looking at your left elbow. Slowly push yourself up to that right hip. Stacking the hips, stretching that right pectoral muscle, and then reach that left leg behind you. Give it a nice little stretch. You can drop the foot down if that feels good. You could also just keep the leg there. The real stretch is in the shoulder. It's just a bonus, so be creative. Maybe play around with where you want your leg. Take a couple of options. And if you find that you're like arching your back, again, see if you can find some space between the belly button and the sacrum. And maybe roll the shoulders back a little bit or the chest back so you're more in alignment and not arching. You take one more breath here. And then slowly unwind again. Take one more final little pose, or little pause, I mean. Good. And then we'll end this little back shoulder sequence with some spider cobras. So take the hands out wider than your mat, like a cactus. Lift the elbows up, and then if it feels good, come up onto your fingertips. And just let your head feel heavy for a minute. Let that feel that stretch in the upper back. Keeping those 10 toenails pressed in, you're going to roll through this upper spine. So tuck the chin to the chest, lift the upper back, then the neck, then the head comes up. And then slowly roll back down. Head, heart, neck, and head. And just do that a few times at your own pace. Good. Do one more. And then slowly roll back. Good. Tuck those hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and push yourself up to tabletop, and then roll into child's pose. And let this just be a nice little yawn for your spine. Take any variation you'd like. If you want your arms straight or if you want them by your side, you choose. And then slowly come up to tabletop. Good. And again, maybe you want to wiggle side to side. Maybe you want to take a few torso circles. Maybe a couple cat cows. What is your back asking for? What your body's asking for? Just move in a way that feels good to you. Take 2 more breaths to add any movement you'd like. And then go ahead and stretch that right foot behind you. You can keep the foot on the floor the best you can with if you're wearing your boot. We're just going to do a couple of inhales, lift that leg up, point the toe. As you exhale, draw the knee to your nose, around your spine, push your floor away. Inhale, reach up, stretch the leg out. Now, instead of thinking of this as a core exercise, you can lower your leg for a minute. I want you to think of it as a hip flexor exercise, so right here. So as you draw the knee up, see how far you can bring it forward. So you're engaging the hip flexors. That's going to help with strengthening that psoas muscle, which will help with the deep front line. So stretch the leg back out. As you exhale, draw that knee in as up as close as you can to your nose and engage that hip flexor. Inhale, stretch out nice and long. Exhale, knee to nose, engaging the hip flexor. Last time. Okay, now stretch the leg out. You have a couple options here. Drop the foot back down, and we're going to thread the needle. If you find that your balance is there today, you could take your leg out to the side, or you could come back into tabletop. So choose what variation works for you. Take your left hand, slide underneath, lower your head and the shoulder down. Now you can keep your right hand out for balance, or you can stretch it long. But what I want you to try to start to do is sink into that back hip. So you're slowly twisting and looking underneath that right arm. So you're really getting into that into that back shoulder. And you may even notice a nice stretch in that left hip. And if balance isn't accessible today, or you're just not feeling that, you can always just bring the knee in and come into a thread the needle in a child's pose or a tabletop. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. Feel free to move your arm anywhere you want. You don't have to stay in one position. Slowly slide that hand, if it was stretched, underneath the shoulder. Push yourself back up. And then slowly drag that leg in and maybe wiggle side to side, especially if you were balancing that leg behind you. That left hip might feel a little bit sore after being the stabilizer. Good, and let's take that all onto the left side. Stretch that left foot behind you, square the hips, and then lift the leg up. If you're able to, point the toe as you inhale. Exhale, draw the knee into the nose and engage the hip flexor. So pull that knee as close into the belly as you can. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, draw it up and see if you can bring it up towards the belly. And out. Good, 2 more just like that, nice and slow. Last one. Go ahead and stretch it out. Again, option to lower the leg down, take it to the side, or bring it into tabletop. Stretch that right arm out. Slowly thread that needle underneath that left elbow. Lower the head down. Find any version with your arm that works for you. You may also want to play with like the diagonal of the bottom arm. Sometimes you might get a different stretch if you bring it up towards your arm, your other hand, or down by your hips. And then sink the best you can into that right hip. We'll stay here for 4 breaths. You almost could think push your weight back into the heels, and that might give another stretch in the back. Just play around, be curious. When you find a spot you like, stay and hold. Good, 1 more breath. Slowly slide that hand back under. Lift yourself up. Slide your back leg in. And again, take a couple of side swings. Maybe a child's pose might be so good right now. Maybe just sit back and sway. Okay, then we're going to end this last little stretch of the shoulders and chest with a variation of puppy pose. Now, if you're not feeling it in the biceps this morning, or not biceps, the triceps, or if the heart is still feeling a little bit tight, then I want you to keep your forearms onto the floor. So for a softer stretch. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a deeper stretch, bring your forearms to the box. Now you're going to walk your knees back so that your hips are over your knees. Clasp your hands together and then slowly draw your heart down towards the floor. So if you find that your hips are going past your hips or your knees, then you need to walk your chest forward a little bit more. So your tail is up in the air. You're lifting your sits bones. Keeping your hands straight, this is version 1, option 1. Option 2, bring your hands like a shark fin and bring it on top of your head and then melt down. Really good stretch for the upper back, the chest, and even the triceps and the lats. You could even tuck your toes under if you need a little bit more stabilizing. And if you're at the point where you're like, you know, I really don't feel that, you could even try flipping the block up a level, maybe to the second level, and then melting down and see what that does for you. Again, just slowly breathe into this. Take one more breath in. Go ahead and stretch the arms out. Slowly walk your knees back up. And take a nice little seat. Wiggle around anything you need to do. Maybe you need to do old school arm stretches. Take your bolster. And if you don't want to use the bolster today, you can use a block. But put it next to the side of you on a horizontal. We're going to do supported bridge. So take your time rolling down onto your back. And once you're on your back, just take a minute. Maybe sway the knees side to side. Let that low back relax. If you do have a blanket underneath you, you might want to remove it. Good. Good. Plant your feet nice and solid into the ground. So you're about hip distance apart, and then lift the hips and slide that bolster or block underneath that low back. You're not in the kidneys, you're right along that sacrum pelvic rim. Now, at any time if this becomes too much for the back, you can always lower down. And you just might want to just let your tailbone, your pelvic bone, or your pelvic rim melt into the bolster. Now, it might feel good to take your hands over your head and clasp your opposite elbows. And just let your arms fall open. So you've created some space between the armpits and the hips so that your body can breathe. And then third option, slowly draw the right knee into your chest. And then you can stretch it out. Let it hover about just to align with the hip bolster. So you're engaging that psoas muscle, engage the core. Let it hover there for one breath. Then on your exhale, slowly lower that heel down and completely relax and melt. Again, if this feels too much for your low back, you can always bend the knees and plant your feet on the floor. Stay here for 2 slow breaths. And go ahead and slowly draw that leg back up. And try with the left knee. Bring the left knee in, flex the foot. Slowly begin to extend the leg out. Let it hover. Engage the leg, the muscles to the bone. Pull the belly in. So that hip flexor is really getting some nice strength. And then slowly lower the heel down. You could also switch your grip on your hands so your shoulders get a little bit different stretch. Then if you're feeling extra, like you need something extra today, there's always the option to stretch both legs out. Again, be mindful of the back. And then reach both arms out over your head and clasp your hands together, kind of like an arrow. A really good morning stretch. And play around if you kind of want to sink, and this is kind of weird, it might be more of a mind thing, but think of sinking your low ribs towards the ground. So there's like an opening of the upper back a little bit, if that makes sense. And then maybe push the ribs up. But this is really small micro movements. So just play around with what feels good in your back. And you can always stay here or float the arms back down towards the bolster. Bend one knee, then the other knee. Again, this is option. Or if you'd like, lift one knee up, then the other knee. And extend the legs up, not all the way straight, but then pull the knees a little bit closer to the belly so that that low back is pressing into the edge of the bolster. This is a really good pose if you have, if you still suffer from menstruation cramps or anxiety or swelling of the legs or edema. So if you ever get a chance to take your boot off and your leg is feeling swollen, this might really help that blood flow. Varicose veins. And you want your legs to be loosey-goosey. You don't want them to be, pointing or flexing. The other option is you could take a strap and wrap it around your calves or your thighs so your legs can just fall open. You don't have to hold them up. But that's also a good pose for digestion. Anytime you do a forward fold or an inversion like this, it's really good to calm the mind. It's also a good time to just like declutter the body, declutter the mind. See when things start to get revealed, the wisdom per se. We'll go ahead and take one more breath here. So then slowly bring your legs back out just a little bit till your more knees are stacked over the hips. And then bend one knee and touch the floor, and then the other knee and touch the floor. Good. Then from here, instead of sliding the bolster out to the side, I want you to lift the hips and push the bolster down towards your knees. So just take a nice little inhale, push that bolster down, take your time rolling your back to the floor. Once you get your bolster to the point where you can push it with your legs, then extend the legs out. And I actually want you to realign the spine. So bend the knees back and put your feet flat on the floor if you can. Just take the knees out and just windshield wiper or sway. It doesn't have to be very big. But after that big back bend, you might want a nice little realignment of the spine. Good. And then go ahead. If you want, you can put your legs on top of the bolster so they're underneath the calves, or you can slide it back so it's underneath the knees. And then just allow yourself to come into this nice, comfortable, any version of Shavasana you'd like. If you have it underneath your knees and you feel like your feet are kind of dangling there, maybe they're feeling heavy, another option I really like is to take your blocks, and put your heels on top of your blocks and then lower down. And that just kind of gives that extra added little support that's like, ah. And of course, a blanket underneath your head if you'd like. If you're cold from your air conditioning going on 15,000 times because of the heat, you could also put a blanket over you. Once you've got all the quirks and the wiggles out, go ahead and settle in. Before I want you to settle in, I'm just going to take a quick little imagery. So this idea, well, first, notice the rise and the fall of your belly as you begin to slow your breath down. And with every exhale, you're just melting into the floor. You're really letting go of muscles you're holding on to. So really be in tune with your body. You may feel like you're relaxed, but then take another breath and see if you can relax even more. May I willingly let go so that wisdom will be revealed with clarity and peace. Go ahead and plant one foot onto the bolster and then the other foot. Add any movement you might like. Roll yourself over to one side. Just take a pause. And then slowly come on up. Again, one more little body scan. Just so you can notice the difference between how you felt now and how you feel before class. And how this relaxed state feels compared to when you're feeling a little bit more tense. Go ahead and bring your hands to your prayer, to your heart. Thank you for coming today. I hope you have a beautiful day, and namaste.